Let's try another not probability again, or probability of an event not occurring. It says the probability that a person has type A blood is 34%. What is the probability that the person does not have type A blood? So if 34% have type A blood, the type that do not would be all the rest. So how would you do it? Instead of doing 1 minus the probability of having a type A, in this case we want it as percentages. So this would be 100% minus the probability of having type A, which would be 34%. Again, this is the probability of not having A, which is a total of 66%. Write your answer as a percentage. We did. We're good to go. Okay. Let's look at this, and it says, suppose we toss a coin 3 times and want to calculate the probability of having heads occur at least once. This is a total different type of probability. I want you to mark this one down. It is way more difficult. It takes a couple steps for you to get. Okay? It says we could list all the possibilities of tossing 3 coins as shown in the following. We've done this numerous times. You had 8 possibilities. There's all 8 possibilities right there. So the probability of getting at least one head. So let's look at which examples have at least one head. This has a head, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. In fact, the only one that doesn't have heads is tails, tails, tails. So the probability of getting at least one head is 7/8. Okay, is there an easier way to do that, though? Did I have to count all 7 of those ways? And the answer is no, you actually didn't. What you had to do was think of the complement. So what is the complement of getting at least one head? The complement of getting at least one head would be getting no heads. So what we want at this point in time is what's the probability of getting no heads in 3 coins? So no heads in 3 coins, what we're really looking at would have to be tails, tails, tails then. And we know that tails, tails, tails is one of the 8 possible combinations. So how could I find the probability of getting at least one heads? What I could do is find the complement, which is no heads. The probability of no heads is the probability of tails, 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 which is 1/8. So the probability of at least one head, I'll put greater than or equal to 1 head, is 1 minus the probability of no heads, which was tails, tails, tails. So that's 1 minus 1/8, which is indeed our 7/8 that we got by looking at all of the answers. So that might not have seemed easier than just listing out the 8s and figuring them out, but if we were dealing with bigger sets and more complicated problems, this at least one idea is very, very important. So how do you find the probability of something occurring at least once? At least one event E. What you're going to do is you're going to do 1 minus the probability that the event does not occur, not E, and then you're going to raise that to power of, and I'm going to put n here, where n is the number of times you do the event. So for instance, in this case, what we're looking at, and this is a formula that's not in the textbook, but I'd write down if I was you. What we're looking at here, if we related this to the last time, what's the probability of getting at least one heads? Well, that'd be 1 minus the probability of not getting a heads, which would be the probability of tails, raised to the how many coins that we did it. So the probability of at least one head would be equal to 1 minus the probability of not getting a heads, which is a tails, raised to how many coins there were. Well, there were 3 coins. So in this case, this would be 1 minus 1/2, this is the probability of getting tails, to the 3rd power, and if I did that, I would get my 7/8 as well. So let's see if this is going to help us with the next few problems. It says a die is tossed 4 times. That's our number in there. That's how many times we're doing something. 4 times. That's the number in. It says what is the probability that 6 will show up on an upward face at least once? So we want to know the probability of at least 6. To do that, we're going to say the 1 minus the probability that it's not 6. And then we're going to raise that to the number of times that we do the event, while we're tossing this die 4 times. So let's think about this. 1 minus, well, what's the probability that it's not 6? The probability that it is 6 is 1 of the 6 times, 1 of the 6 sides of the die. So the probability that it's not 6 would be all the remaining 5 of the 6 sides. Then we raise that to the 4th power because we tossed that die 4 times. So if I do 1 minus 5 6 raised to the 4th, and it says we want to round our answer to the nearest hundredth, 2 decimal places, put that into the calculator, see what you're getting. I'm getting about 0.48.